Good morning. It's Tuesday, May 5th, and Cinco de Mayo. How fun is that? In today's video, I'm going to walk you through Lesson 7-2, Part B. I'm going to take you through each of the problems. I'm not going to actually finally solve them all, but I'll give you ideas how to set them up and how to approach them. Today, Part B practice will go live on Edulastic. Thursday, the Part B quiz will go live. That's all of your assignments for this week. I hope you did your Alex minutes yesterday. I'll be recording those later. And yeah, so let's hop over to Edulastic and I'll walk you through these. I should also mention that today I'm filming in my kitchen, so it's very likely the dogs will be obnoxious. A UPS guy will probably come, and anything can and will happen when I'm down here. All right, so this is question number 1. And question number 1, you can see that one of the equations, the second equation, has been solved for y. So this one's all solved for y. So if one of the equations is solved for a variable, you definitely want to substitute that expression in for that variable. So coming over here to Edulastic, let me turn on my thing. Coming over here to Edulastic, you would do negative 5x minus 6, and then we're going to substitute negative 7x minus 9 for y equals 17. Now remember, your first step in one of these problems is to distribute. This is a negative 6 times a negative 7, which is going to give us a positive 42x. And a negative 6 times a negative 9 is positive 54 equals 17. Now you would combine like terms. We have a positive 42x and a negative 5x, which is going to give us a positive 37x plus 54 equals 17. And since this is a computer generated, that's not what I wanted to write there. Since this is a computer-generated problem, I think we can pretty much predict what's going to happen when we subtract 54 from 17. I get the feeling we're going to get a 37. I haven't worked these out ahead of time. Just kind of diving in here. Yeah, that's definitely 37, negative 37, which brings us to x is negative 1. You're going to have to solve for y on your own on this one. Remember, when you're inputting your answers, you do the first parenthesis, the first variable, second variable, ending parenthesis, no spaces. Be careful that you're inserting the parentheses, and be careful with your signs. Okay? I think you can handle that one. Let's look at the next problem. This one is very similar to the first one. Let me get a fresh page here. We again have one equation is solved for y. So you would set this one up the same way. You would go negative 6x plus 8, substitute negative 6x plus 16 equals 20. Okay. Distribute is your second step. Positive 8 times a negative 6 is going to be negative 48x. Positive 8 times positive 16, I have no idea. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. It'll take me forever to find a calculator. 48, 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12, so it'd be 128. Plus 128 equals 20. Second step would be to combine like terms. This is going to give us negative 54. Add 6 to 8, that would be 4. Carry 1, negative 54x. You know me in mental math, this could go badly. 20. Then we would subtract 128 from both sides. And it gives us negative 54x equals negative 108, which 108 just happens to be twice 54. So if we divide both sides by negative 54, on the right side we would have a negative divided by a negative, so the x variable is 2. Now, if you want me to take you all the way through the rest of this one, you would take this 2 and you would substitute it over here for this x. Then you would have negative 6 times 2 is negative 12, and negative 12 plus 16 is positive 4. So the solution, when you type it in, you're going to do 2, comma, 4, and parenthesis. I made that one too easy for you. Okay. This is number 3. This one is similar in that we have y being solved for. I'm not going to do this one for you. It's just like numbers 1 and 2. This one, all of a sudden, you notice has become multiple choice. All right. Well, that's because it's almost impossible to type no solution or infinite solutions into a math solution answer, accounting for spelling or lack of spelling or punctuation or capitalization. Anything can and will happen. So I switched to multiple choice. A good bet that this is either all or no solutions. I like to throw in the none of the above just to mess with you. And I will tell you that not all of these are no solution or infinite solution. I did not make all of those multiple choice. There is at least one problem where there is a solution and it's one of the choices. So don't think you've outsmarted me. I know you can outsmart me, but not this time. So for this example, let's see, we would go over here. We do have one equation solved for y, so we're going to use that to our advantage. We have 15x plus 3, substituting for y, negative 5x minus 5 equals negative 15. I love 3s and 5s and 15s. I like those numbers. Gives me 15x. Distributing positive 3 times negative 5 gives me negative 15x. Positive 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. And you can see that there is a lot of the same number in here. So this is definitely an all or none problem. What happens when you have 15x minus 15x? These guys just wipe themselves out. Okay, which leaves us with the expression or the equation negative 15 is equal to negative 15. This is a true statement. And if you'll remember yesterday's video, when we have true statements, that means that this solution has infinite solutions. Okay, if we get a false statement, there are no solutions. So this one in particular, number 4, has infinite solutions. All right, this one, again, is a multiple choice. Don't just assume this one has no solution. You need to check, all right? It's the one equation is solved for y, so it's super easy to go ahead and put this 2x plus 16 in where this y is. That's kind of a weird substitution since there's no distributing. Don't let that mess with you. This is what it will look like. You will have 2x equals, and then you're just going to take the y out and put the 2x plus 16 in there. And then don't forget to add that plus 8 at the end. Okay, so then you would solve that and see if you get a true statement, a false statement, or maybe this is the one that has a real solution. I'm not going to tell you. Right? All right, I'm going to pause this a second because my dog wants in. Sorry about that. My husband normally takes care of the dogs, but my daughter needed him to go over and help with her kids today because she had a training for work. So I'm dog mom today. All right, this is question number 6. We've gone back to inputting a solution. So you can pretty much assume that this is going to have a point solution. The trick with this one is that there isn't an equation that is solved for one of the variables. So you're going to need to do that. When you decide which equation you're going to solve for the variable, make your life as easy as possible. Look at the two equations and ask yourself, is one easier to solve for than the other? And which variable is easier to solve for? Looking at this one, that equation, the first equation, too many coefficients. The second equation has a y in it with no coefficient. That's the one you want to go for. So you want to take this negative 7x plus y equals negative 3 and solve for y. This one's super easy. It's a one-stepper, all right? You add 7x to both sides, And now you will have y equals 7x minus 3. Now you can substitute 7x minus 3 into the first equation, 6x plus 4 times 7x minus 3 equals 22. And then you would distribute, combine like terms, and solve for x. No, I'm not doing the whole thing for you. I know that's what you were thinking. In this system here, clearly the equation on the right would be heinous to solve for a variable with all those coefficients. But I look at this first one and I see that x doesn't have a coefficient. It's always easiest to solve for a variable that does not have a coefficient. So in this case, I would solve this one for x by adding 2y to both sides. And that will give me x equals 2y plus 5 because 5 was positive. Then when you go to substitute, remember you're substituting for x this time. So you would put 2y plus 5 in where the x was. Minus 4y equals 5. Distribute 14y plus 35 minus 4y equals 5. Combine like terms. A positive 14y and a negative 4y gives you 10y plus 35 equals 5. And well, from here, I'm sure you can solve this while doing 5 other things at the same time. This is super easy from here. And then you will have to go back in and find out what x is. Okay. Got that. Okay. Here we have a system that neither one is solved for a variable. I would recommend you solve this one, the first one, for the variable because that x is positive, so less work. You would just have to subtract 3y from both sides, and then you would have x equals negative 3y plus 8. Then you could substitute. You know what? I do want to kind of go through this one. If we took x plus 3y minus equals 8, we subtract 3y from both sides. I see a possible problem here. X is equal to negative 3y plus 8. Now, when you go to substitute that, you have a negative x. So you're going to put a negative sign out in front of the parenthesis, and you will have negative 3y plus 8 inside the parenthesis, minus 3y equals 0. When you distribute this negative, you treat it like a negative 1. Okay, so you would go negative 1 times negative 3y is positive 3y, and negative 1 times positive 8 will be negative 8. And that's all the help you're getting from me on that one. But I wanted to make sure that you understood how to distribute this negative sign. It just changes the signs of the other terms. Okay, this is question 9 of 10. This one is, one of the variables is solved for. Here we have y being solved for. So you're going to take this expression and substitute it for that y, right? I think you'll be able to do that one without too much trouble. And the final question, neither equation is solved for a variable. The first equation will be the easiest one to solve for. I would solve for x by subtracting 3y from both sides, okay? And then you should be able to get that no problem. All right. If you get through this and you're not satisfied with your grade, by all means reach out to me and I'll reopen it for you. And the quiz that will be live on Thursday is going to look very much like this practice assignment. If you have any questions, reach out. You have my phone number, you have my email address, and I would love to hear from you. All right. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Oh, and the word to get credit for your video today, I'm going to say it really fast because I just saw the FedEx guy, and I have 2 dogs. The word for credit for today's video, today's Cinco de Mayo. Tell me what your favorite Mexican food is. Mine's cheese enchiladas. I love cheese enchiladas. You tell me what yours is. See you later.